Welcome to another episode of First Time Leaders Accelerated. Leading people is the most important responsibility in the world, yet nearly 60% of first-time leaders fail. Using my 4 decades of experience for leader development and culture improvement, I launched this podcast to teach you how to prevent these expensive and recurring failures and accelerate the transformation of the right people to people-centered leaders. This podcast is dedicated to first-time leaders, those of you who hire and promote first-time leaders, and you solopreneurs who hired your first people. I'm Timothy Dean Smith, your host and coach. At the end of each month, from January through July, I post these bite-sized episodes containing insight you and those you lead will benefit from immediately for a lifetime. And now, here is your episode. Many things in life are cyclical. Leading people is no different. Today, I will explain the people-centered leader cycle. I prefer the term people-centered leader for 2 reasons. 1, it's descriptive. And 2, it keeps the focus on what's important, the people. Before we continue, I have what feels like a strange request. You will learn why later in this episode. This may sound redundant, but please take a selfie of yourself. I'll give you a minute. Okay. The people-centered leader cycle frequently begins with an outstanding individual performer selected to a leader role based on their current performance. The flawed assumption is they will be successful leading people just as they led themselves as an individual performer. To add more pressure, they are usually expected to lead the team they are currently a member of. The often neglected first and most critical step is to self-assess the first-time leader candidate. I developed a free self-assessment. I call it the first-time leader self-assessment. This self-assessment should be non-negotiable for every first-time leader or anyone contemplating a leader career. This simple 4-question self-assessment prevents first-time leader failure, which happens 60% of the time. This self-assessment assures first-time leaders possess the mindset and skills to lead people for a lifetime. This self-assessment ensures the right people are selected for the most important responsibility in the world, leading people. Everyone who takes this self-assessment should be given the opportunity to honestly answer the questions without the fear of hurting the feelings of those who selected them for promotion. It's okay to answer any of these questions with no, and ultimately a no thank you to the leader promotion. Not everyone needs to be a people-centered leader, and not everyone wants to be a people-centered leader. Top performers wanting to remain in their individual performer role is okay. It is much better for the individual and the whole organization. According to career research experts, Zippia's October 2023 study, they found 83% of organizations believe developing leaders at every level is important, but only 5% of organizations implement leadership development at all levels. Now for a few direct questions. What does a leader look like? Well, there are a couple of surefire ways to tell. One is to look in the mirror, and the other is to look at the selfie I ask you to take. That's what a leader looks like. Everyone is a leader, at least self-leader. Self-leadership is the most important leadership. If you can lead yourself well, you have the potential to lead people well. Next question. What is a people-centered leader? Leadership is one of our top 3 people skills. A people-centered leader triggers sustained inspiration in people to pursue a shared vision and mission. Again, a people-centered leader triggers sustained inspiration in people to pursue a shared vision and mission. Next question. How do you become a people-centered leader? You can learn to be a leader in a classroom, but you can't become a leader in a classroom. There is a huge difference between learning leader skills and living them. You have to get in the game. You have to get out amongst those in your care and lead. You can't teach experience. You need to gain it on your own. What is the goal of a people-centered leader? Well, there's a number of them. First, develop lifetime leaders, not more followers. Establish a future-proof culture where people feel appreciated, inspired, and fulfilled. A culture where it's difficult to fail. People-centered leaders make themselves progressively unnecessary. They always model and demonstrate great people-centered leadership. This is the best perpetual succession plan. A people-centered leader's value is not determined in their presence. It is determined in their absence. And they enjoy watching things work without them. Next question. When is leadership earned? It's earned when people choose to follow the leader. And there's two primary reasons people will follow a leader. The first, a leader who demonstrates authenticity, caring, and trustworthiness. The other is a leader who coaches people, manages processes, and knows when and how to get out of the way. One thing that you have to be careful of as a leader is leader illusion. This is when people give you the illusion they are following you because they must, due to your title, authority, and your ability to control their professional destiny. Next question. When does leadership end? Leadership ends when they have made themselves progressively unnecessary and when they move on to another leader opportunity. This concludes your episode. If you need a leadership speaker or you need help with leader development and/or culture improvement, visit tdspi.com. That's tdspi.com and click on Meet Me. I look forward to our get to know each other conversation. If you find my knowledge and insight valuable, share this podcast with your friends and colleagues. Click the appropriate link in the episode notes to take your first step and find out if you have what it takes to lead people. People deserve to be led well. Make your leadership matter. Thank you for listening to the First Time Leaders Accelerated podcast. Take care.